Across Minnesota, countless structures hide behind tree lines and overgrown roads, silent witnesses to a vanished era. Flooded mine shafts, crumbling industrial complexes, entire communities wiped from existence. Forgotten military installations, psychiatric labyrinths, and desolate coastal settlements once inhabited by lighthouse families. These places may appear deserted today, but each one pulses with stories of ambition, catastrophe, and human perseverance. Today, we're venturing into 10 of Minnesota's most haunting abandoned locations. Stay with us until the end. The number 1 site will leave you speechless. Number 10. Twin Cities Army Ammunition Plant. North of St. Paul lies a facility that fueled 3 major American conflicts, yet now stands largely silent and partially razed. The Twin Cities Army Ammunition Plant, commonly called TCAP, served as a critical munitions production hub throughout World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. Construction launched in the early 1940s as America mobilized for wartime production on an unprecedented scale. The plant expanded into a sprawling industrial colossus spanning thousands of acres, featuring assembly lines, fortified storage bunkers, weapons testing grounds, vast warehouses, railway terminals, and subterranean infrastructure. During peak operations, TAP's workforce numbered in the thousands, churning out millions of cartridges daily. Following World War II, portions of the facility entered standby mode. However, when conflicts ignited in Korea and later Vietnam, the factory roared back to full capacity. Decades of continuous operation created an immense industrial landscape alongside environmental contamination that would eventually complicate redevelopment. By the early 2000s, most production had ceased entirely. Buildings were gutted, machinery hauled away, and substantial sections eventually demolished. Today's remnants include expansive vacant lots, restricted structures, and skeletal remains of the original industrial framework. Munition bunkers stilled the property, their reinforced concrete walls engineered to contain explosions. Abandoned warehouse shells stand with rusted doors hanging open to the wind. In certain areas, tunnel openings and underground utility corridors remain visible, though sealed for public safety. The surviving layout conveys the staggering scale and complexity of this once vital operation. Number 9. Banning Ghost Town. Deep within Banning State Park rests the vanished community of Banning. During the late 1800s, this region thrived as a bustling logging and sandstone quarrying center. Workers extracted enormous stone blocks from the quarries and distributed them throughout the Midwest. The Kettle River powered sawmills, railroad tracks snaked through the wilderness, and hundreds of residents called this town home. Disaster struck in 1894 when a catastrophic wildfire swept across central Minnesota. The inferno damaged the settlement and crippled logging and quarrying operations. By the early 1900s, the quarries had declined and remaining industries gradually collapsed. Businesses shuttered, families departed, and the town eventually fell into abandonment. Today, the park preserves what endures. Visitors can discover foundations of historic mills, corroded machinery, quarry remnants, and traces of the railroad grade that once linked Banning to the broader state network. Though nature has reclaimed nearly everything, the stone structures and industrial debris still reveal the magnitude and significance of this forest community that once flourished here. Number 8. Gopher Ordnance Works. Traveling through the farmlands and rural routes near Rosemount, you might never suspect you're traversing one of Minnesota's largest abandoned military construction sites. Beneath the prairie grass and scattered vegetation lie the remains of a World War II explosives manufacturing facility, built urgently, constructed massively, and barely utilized. This is the Gopher Ordnance Works. Construction commenced in the early 1940s as the United States braced for escalating wartime production demands. Government officials selected an enormous agricultural tract outside Rosemount and converted it into a classified industrial zone. Over 10,000 acres were cleared for a facility designed to manufacture smokeless gunpowder and other critical military supplies. Hundreds of structures were blueprint. Miles of pipelines, storage reservoirs, pumping stations, and tunnels began materializing. Entire households were displaced to accommodate the project. Despite the colossal investment, the plant never achieved full operational capacity. By the time construction neared completion, the war's trajectory had shifted. Material requirements changed, and vast portions of the facility never went online. After hostilities ended in 1945, the project was swiftly abandoned. The Gopher Ordnance Works remnants still scatter across the terrain today. Massive concrete shells sit half-submerged in grassland. Lengthy equipment foundations stretch across fields where machinery once operated. Bunkers and storage bases create an unsettling pattern throughout the open expanse. In concealed sections, tunnel entrances and fragments of underground networks persist, though most are sealed or fenced for safety. Number 7. Split Rock Lighthouse Ruins. Most visitors recognize Split Rock Lighthouse as one of America's most scenic and photographed beacons. However, few realize that below the main installation, concealed along the rocky coastline, are the abandoned remnants of an entire support settlement that once sustained lighthouse operations. When Split Rock Lighthouse commenced service in 1910, it required a dedicated community for maintenance. Lighthouse keepers and their families resided year-round on the cliffs, isolated from any town or modern amenities. Below the lighthouse stood storage facilities, repair workshops, fuel depots, cable systems, and docking structures where supply boats arrived during favorable weather. These installations formed a secondary operational area essential for everyone living above. When automation arrived in 1969, the lower support grounds became obsolete. Technology advanced. Fuel no longer required manual transport up the cliffs. The keepers and their families relocated. The coastal village below gradually succumbed to abandonment and weathering. Today, hiking down from the main viewpoint reveals what survives of this forgotten sector. The contrast between the preserved lighthouse above and the deteriorating settlement below creates a powerful reminder of how technology transforms communities and erases the human presence once required to maintain such remote outposts. Number 6. Sioux Line Roundhouse Ruins. Concealed within Minneapolis's industrial corridor stands a structure that once sustained the city's railroad operations around the clock. The Sioux Line Roundhouse at Shoreham functioned as a critical hub for locomotive repair and maintenance, a facility where massive engines arrived for servicing before returning to routes spanning the Midwest. Today, only fragments persist, yet they constitute some of Minnesota's most dramatic railroad ruins. The Roundhouse emerged during the era when railroads dominated virtually every aspect of American commerce. The structure itself was monumental. Locomotives entered through wide portals, rotated on a central turntable, and advanced into repair bays arranged in a sweeping semicircle. Mechanics operated in shifts, welding, hammering, and examining engines that propelled the Sioux Line Railroad across the Northern Territories. As diesel engines supplanted steam and railroad operations modernized, demand for large roundhouses diminished. Many were reduced or demolished. At Shoreham, roundhouse sections were abandoned and left to decay. Over time, weather and neglect ravaged the structure, leaving behind substantial brick walls, steel framework, and vacant repair pits where locomotives once rested. The roundhouse outline remains distinguishable, allowing visitors to envision the building's size and power during its operational years. Number 5. Whittier Old State Hospital. On Fergus Falls outskirts rises one of the nation's largest and most iconic psychiatric hospital complexes. Officially designated the Fergus Falls State Hospital, this massive Kirkbride facility opened in 1890 and functioned for over a century. Today, silence envelopes it, but its network of abandoned tunnels, vacant wards, and imposing architecture continues captivating thousands of urban explorers. The hospital was constructed following the Kirkbride Plan, an architectural philosophy designed to promote sunlight exposure, fresh air circulation, and a structured therapeutic environment. The building extended nearly half a mile end to end. Daily life inside followed a strict regimen. Patients labored on the farm, cultivated gardens, and practiced trades, all under the philosophy that organized activity facilitated recovery. As treatments evolved and new psychiatric approaches emerged, the hospital gradually diverged from its original model. By the 1990s, the enormous campus became impractical to maintain. In 2005, the facility officially closed. Today, the structure stands vacant, and the site's most compelling feature is its subterranean tunnel network. These passages connected virtually every major building, enabling staff movement between areas during brutal Minnesota winters. Some tunnels transported laundry and provisions, while others served as discrete routes for personnel and patients. The tunnel system represents a hidden dimension of institutional life that most visitors never witnessed. Number 4. Taconite Harbor. Driving along Minnesota's North Shore, you'll eventually encounter a strangely desolate stretch of land. No traffic flows, no residences stand, no sound exists except wind sweeping off Lake Superior. It's difficult imagining this location once functioned as a complete company town filled with workers, families, and the constant din of mining operations. This is Taconite Harbor, a ghost town that vanished virtually overnight. Taconite Harbor was established by LTV Steel during the mid-20th century. It was built to accommodate workers operating the massive taconite processing plant situated near the lake. The town contained everything a small community required: residential rows, playgrounds, a general store, and streets where children played after school. For decades, the plant and town operated in tandem, both sustained by the iron mining industry that shaped the region. That stability shattered in 2001. LTV Steel collapsed financially, and with the plant's closure, no justification existed to maintain the town. Residents received evacuation orders. Homes were relocated or razed, buildings emptied, and by year's end, the entire population had disappeared. What had been a vibrant community for over 40 years fell silent. Today, Taconite harbors remain scattered across the landscape. Concrete foundations mark where houses once stood. Fractured pavement that formerly comprised streets now leads nowhere. The power plant, once the community's heartbeat, sits abandoned with only structural fragments still visible. A colossal industrial skeleton overlooking the lake, testifying to how rapidly industries ascend and collapse. Number 3. Dundas Archibald Mill Ruins. Along Dundas's Cannon River stand the ruins of the historic Archibald Mill. The mill was originally founded in 1857 when brothers John and George Archibald constructed a substantial flour milling operation powered by river currents. By the 1870s, it had evolved into one of southern Minnesota's most productive mills and helped establish Dundas as a significant milling town. The mill endured several catastrophic fires throughout its existence. A devastating fire in 1892 inflicted severe damage. Another major conflagration in 1914 reduced the structure to ruins. Milling operations declined afterward, and the site eventually fell into abandonment. The remains are still remarkable. Substantial stone walls rise beside the river. The old mill race where water once drove machinery remains visible. Broken foundations and scattered industrial components lie among grass and vegetation. Photographers and history enthusiasts frequent the area because these ruins rank among the state's most photogenic and well-preserved early milling structures. Number 2. Mill City Ruins, Minneapolis. In Minneapolis's heart, directly beside the Mississippi River, stands one of the United States' most historically significant industrial sites. These are the Mill City ruins, remnants of a mill that once fed millions and helped establish Minneapolis as the world's flour capital. The narrative begins with the Washburn Mill, completed in the 1870s. At that time, it was the planet's largest and most technologically advanced flour mill. The river powered massive turbines driving an entire network of grinding machines, elevators, and sifters. Day and night, thousands of flour barrels departed the mill, supplying bakeries nationwide and internationally. Minneapolis expanded rapidly around it, and the riverfront became one of the nation's most productive industrial zones. That prosperity nearly ended instantaneously. On May 2, 1878, a dust explosion devastated the Washburn mill. A single spark ignited flour dust inside the machinery, triggering an explosion so violent it obliterated the mill and surrounding buildings. 18 workers perished. The blast shook the city and scattered debris across the river. It remains one of Minnesota's deadliest industrial disasters. However, the mill was reconstructed, stronger and safer than before. For over a century, it continued operating as part of Minneapolis's expanding milling empire. Then in 1991, another catastrophe occurred. A massive fire ravaged the abandoned upper floors of the mill complex, leaving behind charred stone walls and twisted metal. By this point, production had already ceased, but the fire left the structure exposed to the sky, transforming it into a haunting steel and stone shell. Instead of demolition, the city chose preservation. Today, the Mill City ruins anchor the Mill City Museum, a modern complex built directly into the surviving historic walls. Number 1. Milford Mine Disaster Site. In the quiet forests near Crosby lies the location of Minnesota's deadliest mining catastrophe. This was the Milford Mine, an iron ore operation that opened in the early 1900s. Everything changed on February 5, 1924. At approximately 3 p.m., workers accidentally breached a water-filled underground cavern connected to nearby Foley Lake. The mine flooded almost instantaneously. 48 men were working below surface. Water surged down the shafts faster than anyone could react. Only 7 miners escaped alive. 41 never emerged. The disaster shocked the entire state and became one of the region's deadliest mining accidents in history. Today, the area is preserved as the Milford Mine Memorial Park. Visitors walk along a quiet boardwalk following the old path miners took to work. The mine pits are sealed and water-filled. A series of markers tell the disaster's story and display the names of the men who perished. The surroundings appear peaceful now, but every structure and every pool of water reminds visitors of the tragedy's speed and scale that unfolded here. I hope you've enjoyed this journey through Minnesota's abandoned places. Make sure to share this with your friends, and I'll see you in the next video.